What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A Couple of Subs. I'm your host, Cody Crane. With me, as always, my lovely co-host, Kristen Crane, aka Kiki.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode, A Couple of Subs. So on our episode today, we have the privilege of interviewing one of our good friends, Mr. Brock Hill, and the first Canadian on our show.
Hey.
So welcome to the show, Brock. Thanks for having us over.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. Never done one of these said podcasts before.
Well, we'll pop your cherry too.
First time.
You got an odd way of coming on today.
I know, right? Golly.
So, Brock, tell us and our listeners a little bit about yourself. You know, where you grew up, family, friends, that kind of thing.
I grew up in just north of Toronto, about 2.5 hours north of Toronto, Ontario, which is a province, not state. Right by Badrose. It was a little community gas station, general store type thing. We get bused in to go to school in Shelburne, Ontario, and about 5,000 people, and that's where I grew up. That's where I hung the hat. Grew up playing hockey. That's pretty simple. You know.
So was it froze up there all the time? Or?
No.
I'm a gringo to the cold. I don't know.
Like I am the podcast. Yeah. No. I mean, up there we were born and raised in it, so you get used to it. Like the heat down here, you're used to it. I am not.
I'm not used to it.
We'd have nice weather for, I don't know, maybe 3 months of the year. Other than that, yeah, it's but you're used to it. You're either skiing, snowboarding, playing hockey, which is cold year round, FYI.
So would you like compare it to like Colorado or something like that?
I've never been, so you shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
You just go home. If you want to go snow skiing, you just go home.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do that, but no, I mean, it's probably, I don't even know. I've been down here too damn long now. But yeah, I'm not used to the heat, but no, yeah, but you had things to do. When it gets cold here during the winter months, there's nothing to do, right? So we had snowmobiles or going skiing or hockey or, building snow forts or whatever, but down here it's just, everything's dead and it's miserable. You can't go boating. I mean, you can if you're that hardcore, but up there we're used to it. You were outfitted for it, I guess you can say. So I guess Colorado would be a similar, Minnesota. Yeah, Wisconsin, that's right along there. I grew up right along those lines, so yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Compass Industrial. That's what I want to talk about.
But before we get there, so yes, that is Brock's business. But before we get there, let's talk about how did you get into the industrial service business? Weren't you working for a similar company before you decided to open up your own? Kind of give us that background.
Yeah, I mean, growing up as a teenager and everything, I was the typical, I know everything, and wanted to go against everything my parents' advice they gave me. So I didn't graduate high school. I failed my senior year of, which is grade 12 in Canada. You guys
Same
have
here.
the junior, senior, all that. We don't.
Grade 12.
Yeah, but I failed. I didn't do my seminar or something, a thesis and all that kind of crap. I didn't do it, so I failed, and I was making money at the time. I didn't want to go back to school for one credit, so I said hell with it. Started going through the landscaping, fence building. Got with a great family there, but I hit about 24, and my dad has done the same thing that I do now. But of course I was defiant and screw you, Dad, Mom, you don't know anything. You're idiots. I know everything, going paycheck to paycheck.
You Canadians are mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we're known for, being so mean, so sorry.
Sorry.
But so finally I broke down and asked my dad. At that time he owned a company, and I asked if I could work for him, and he said fine, but you had to have your high school diploma. So I finally, at 24, started working for him. I think it was early 2000s, I don't even know the year, but ended up working for him, leaving a job that was, back then was, I don't know, 21 bucks an hour. I started for him, driving an hour and a half, and of course, a vehicle that was not, jacked up truck, slammed cars and all that, but I was driving an hour and a half with not a pot to piss in. But my dad gave me the opportunity, and I started working in his shop for $10 an hour and going to night school. So I did get my GED, I guess you could say, through, it's out in the garage somewhere with mice bites in it and all that. But he gave me the opportunity, him and his partners at the time. And I guess I kind of latched on. My father was in our industry, he was an electrician. And of course, I still had that defiance in me. I went the opposite route, and I went mechanical side of our industry. They finally granted me an apprenticeship, and it just blossomed from there. That's how I got it. Once I got in, met a bunch of great people, and I was never leaving. And hell, here I am in Mississippi.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Like, whenever you got in there, you know, out the gates, what was that like? Where did they start you out at? Did you work your way up? And
Yeah, I started in the shop, as fabrication shop. They built overhead cranes, kind of everything, Jimson conveyors, just anything. And hell, I didn't have a clue. My first job was, I remember they brought in an old wood stove, and we were making J-hooks that pick up ladles and steel mills, you know, the big, they're massive, but it's 12 plates welded together. It's all riveted together, but the rivets are, you know, 10 inches long, 1 inch round. Well, the way they cook them is...
That's a big ass rivet.
Yeah, so they put it in and again, his company was small, much like what I have now, and I had to build this wood stove that you could put a rosebud in, which is propane heater. They cooked them in there, but I had to seal it all off. I didn't have a dang...
A rosebud?
Yeah, it's just a propane torch, basically.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a hard flame, it's a soft flame, it just cooks shit. It's like a real fireplace, but it was flame, you know, fuel induced.
Gotcha.
They'd pull them out, and then they'd have to sledgehammer all the rivets, put them in through the bottom, and then they sledged them all. So by the time the J-hook was built, they'd have 20 broken sledgehammers all around. But I didn't know any different, so I was just, okay, this is, I guess, the way you do it. You know, it was a lot of harder, not smarter back then, I guess, but that's the way I learned.
So was that job that you're talking about, was that while you were still in Canada, or is that after you come here?
No, that was still in Canada.
Okay.
I did that when my dad, he had a company called Surtec Industrial. I started working there. Some of the guys, it was always, you were either in Canada, you were always a iron worker, electrician, or millwright. Either way you go, you're not right in the head, really, in our industry, to be right. If you love it, you're in it for life.
Thick skin.
Yeah. So I hit it off with the mechanical guys, and I decided to do a millwright apprenticeship in Canada. Like my high school, I still haven't finished it, but I worked for my dad's company, and I go to night school versus taking the blocks off of 3 months to go to trade school.
Oh yeah.
I, you know, and to be honest, fluffed my way through that. My teacher was one of the maintenance guys at a steel mill that we did all the service at, so we'd mainly go drink instead of going to school. Had no clue what I was
Not
doing.
what you know, it's who you know.
I was learning it quickly, right? So I had some great guys that I worked for. Terrence Silstra is the one guy, and he was actually younger than me when I came in. But he was a welder. Hell, I didn't know. I had no clue what I was doing. What I could make people laugh, and at that time, I was still like the boss's son, right? So what are they gonna do? I still had that attitude of, I'm 30 minutes late, you know, who are they gonna call? You know, I still had that guilty conscience, but I just couldn't wake up, man. I couldn't do it. I just could not do it. Oh, I gave it a college try.
Yeah.
I was still late. No matter what, I was going to be late, and the guys ended up doing that. And again, they worked for my dad, and he had 3 other partners, but they had so much respect for my dad. And when I did show up, or when a lot of the times in Canada, it's not like Toronto, for instance. We were in Hamilton, Ontario, where our shop was, but we'd have to go to, Whitby. Well, to drive, that's a 3-hour span, roughly.
I don't know.
So but the commute was hell, right? So I'd meet them like at a carpool, off exit 57, for instance, right here, and they'd be there sleeping in their truck. I'd pull up in my, badass Ford truck that I thought was cool, but I didn't have a service vehicle, so but I bring my own tools. They taught me that. You bring your own. I had a 5-gallon pail in the trunk of whatever I was, or in the back of my truck, and I'd get out there, and when I was on the job, I'd do whatever I had to do. Like, I wouldn't let them,
Scoreboard don't lie.
Get the hell out of my way. I can do that. You can do it, I can do it. So that's the way I got my start. A lot of the guys I met, like I said, were instrumental. They were smart bastards, and I learned that. They were thick-skinned lads, and they ribbed me. I'd rib them right back. I knew where to draw the line. But I remember, it's funny, all the guys back then, they'd have the. I don't know if you guys had them back then, but we had the press-to-talk phones. You remember those?
Yes,
Like
I do remember them.
They were a cell phone.
We had walkie-talkies.
Oh shoot! Yes, we had those.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Yeah, well, if you had your volume right up, right, they'd send me in a store to get just shit. I don't even think they needed it, but they go in there as soon as I was there at the cashier. They'd press to talk.
Oh God.
Yeah, like in what they were saying.
Instruction work to talk.
Oh, I'm not going to repeat what they said.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but no, it was bad. But then I also drove an hour and a half home, and at that time I was living with 2 other guys, which are beauties as well. They were still great friends, Don and Al, and I drove my personal car an hour and a half, but these guys would still call me in the middle of the night, like the senior guys, and say, hey, we got a service call. I need you to come with me. So fuck, what am I to do?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything, don't wanna disappoint my dad, so I'd throw the work boots on, hop in my personal car, and I'd drive 45 minutes, and they'd call me back. There's a bunch of the old fuckers drinking in the garage. Fucking with me, yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That
Well,
means that they like you.
I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, I mean.
That,
It's
and
not
they
part of
also knew if they needed something, you was coming.
Well, I needed fuel money at the time, so I needed to go, Hell, I was eating 2 cups of rice and chicken fingers.
Yeah.
that was my eating back then. Bouncing my rent check for, what was it? It was $285 a month, and I was bouncing it like a son of a bitch, I'll have it by the 20th, But back then, we'd go to the bar, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hell, but come Monday, you scraping quarters together, to get a coffee in the morning. Shit.
Yeah.
You can always tell. I know whenever I was like, wearing my tool bag every day, same as you wear. You could always tell the guy that didn't drink or party much because like everybody was like waiting on payday, and the guy that was like, oh shit, today's payday. If you forgot about payday, you didn't go to the bars every night.
Yeah.
You
didn't
didn't already burn through all your money.
I know, you still have guys, is it pay week? What? You don't know when you get paid? I mean, Jesus, you get paid too much.
Yeah.
You're
not spending enough money.
Exactly, you cheap bastard. You're not having any fun, but yeah, it was fun. I traveled a lot with those guys. We did some crazy projects. I was always a junior guy. And if I did travel sometimes, I remember one time I was with a guy, big Bulgarian guy. Terry Petkov was his name. Big guy.
Wait, what was that? Say that again.
Terry Petkov. Big guy, big goatee, but all the guys, he was huge. Massive. And I drive with him, and back then it was single cab trucks. And we'd drive 12 hours to a job, and he wanted to play punch buggy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So then sometimes we may indulge in adult beverages on the way, but hell, he's a senior guy. I didn't know any better. And they'd always,
his lead.
I remember, it's funny that I go back now, but they always thought they'd outsmart the law because they'd open the case from the bottom, right, and take the beers, but then put your cap back on and stick it. So if we get pulled over, we'll flip the case over of empties. It's a sealed case. We're not drinking.
That's pretty funny.
But I'd say I
thought
gotta have a piss, and they'd stop somewhere and then take off. I'd be out in the middle of buttfuck, Saskatchewan, and they are
Canadian
gone.
thing. Because the next time I see you, I'm whipping your ass. That's
well, he was so big, there was nothing you could
Yeah.
do. They called him Pumpkinhead because his cranium was so damn big. So, but he was another guy that was instrumental. I mean, there's so many guys I could name that I wouldn't be where I am. I got in with my dad's company at the right time, but then I wanted to be that next guy. But then I always wanted to. You're an idiot. You know, I don't want that. I don't want that. I wanted to be that guy, but there was always somebody else I wanted to be or get to that level. And finally I did, but then my dad's company sold. So.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask you, so I know that you were in the field, but how long were you with your dad's company, and did you ever get to a management position?
Never. I remember I went to, my dad's company was going through changes. And they brought in a service manager that finally didn't treat me like I was the boss's son type thing. But I was also getting a shaft, right? If I went out, I'd do a call till 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be right back in at 7. Well, 7:20, let's be honest. But
trains and shit.
If, these guys all had service trucks and their tools and all that, I could do what they were doing, but I wasn't getting the recognition. So finally I went in, and I'd never go to my dad. They tried when my dad was there. I tried to be I was like the safety guy, but I'm also a junior guy on the tools. So what am I supposed to say to the senior guys, right? So it was mostly, there was a safety meeting. It was mostly a comedy club for the 2 hours. And what am I supposed to say? Hey guys, get serious here. They're going to roast me on the job the next time. So I knew we did a lot of jobs with union as well. So I learned the ins and outs of how to deal with older guys. And I heard the hell stories of, the one guy, what Matty Kubik is his name, Polish guy. And he was, a Polak, yeah, those pierogies, all that. But he's a beauty. I learned so much under him, but he was an absolute weapon. But he said his job when he got his millwright ticket and all that, and I drive him all the time. And we had a bunch of union guys there, and they'd come in on Fridays and just say, "Hey, can I borrow your desk, kid?" "Huh? Yeah, sure." But they're Hell's Angels, I mean, flames on their neck and all that. Excuse me, sir. But they'd chalk up that stuff on their desks and all that. I mean, we were scabs essentially, but what were we supposed to say, right? And I got my eyes opened, and I was like, oh wow. So in Canada, when I go do jobs, the senior guys in my dad's company would give me tasks to do on big turnarounds or shutdowns or whatnot, and then I'd have to deal with the union guys. But I was wet behind the ears. I was greener than a fucking cucumber. And then I'm telling these senior guys, with neck tattoos and all that. And I had no tattoos at that time, and I'd be, "Excuse me, sir." So I had to, what it taught me is how to deal with people and how to get the job done without being an asshole, without having an ego. You can, you can get a job. Yeah, you can do a job without having an ego, and everybody can be happy, and we can all go home.
But also without letting people run over you too.
Yeah, I mean, don't take my kindness as a weakness type thing. Like I knew what, and I was okay with a job failing. I never went into a job even when I was green and wet behind the ears. When I was getting my teeth cut, I didn't care if the job went bad. I never had that fear. I wanted to. I don't know what it is looking back.
Take care of your guys, and you just got that feeling that
I got it. It's on me, but yeah, it always kind of pulled through. So, it kind of progressed where I still wasn't getting the recognition, and I don't know what year it is, but I went to.
It's 2021.
Yeah. Thank you, Helpy Helper Tud. But I went, I asked for 3 months off. Then they said, you don't have the time. And I was going to Thailand. So I'm going, I don't care.
For what?
Just travel. So a girl I was dating at the time, we were going to Thailand.
Okay, I knew there had to be something else.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to Thailand, and it was, about that time that it was on that trip. It was about 3 months, but we had a budget of $3,000. Like, that was it.
For
For
3 months?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, go to Thailand. You live like a king. But
Costa Rica too.
I gotta check that one out. But anyways, it was on that trip that I realized that I said, hell with this. I'm not gonna be the boss's son. I'm not gonna be Chris Hill's son anymore. And I'm gonna be Brock Hill and be who I want to be. I took 3 months off. It hurt. One, coming home broke really helped. And a big project came open in, this was in Trois-Rivières in Quebec, right on the St. Lawrence. And they needed somebody to go. And I said, one of my dad's partners, Vince Lamachesi, Vincenzo Lamachesi was
Wow.
his name.
Vincenzo Lamachesi.
Yeah, he's
No,
Italian,
you
but
didn't.
he was a smart, really smart guy. And I said, Vince, I can go. He said, you sure? I can go. I can do this. It was a survey that I had to go do. And I went there, and luckily for me, I had at that time, I think they were sold, I'm not quite sure. Or I think we were working for a company that ended up buying my dad's company. But long story short, I got lucky. I went and did that portion of the job, and I had a young engineer out there that him and I were kind of in the same boat. Like when you can look at somebody and you can say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, neither do I.
Been there.
So he wanted me back. So it kind of just snowballed, and that was my first major project.
So was it him? Was it? You have to say this one more time.
He's not sure that. I can't do that.
It's Vince. It's really Vince Lamachesi.
Alright, Vince Lamachesi.
And I may be butchering it. I have no fucking clue. But it's
So-
Vince Lamachesi, yeah.
We don't know.
Is he a partner in Compass?
No, he was a partner with my dad.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that was back in, I came down to the States in
You've been
09.
here for a minute.
Yeah,
You
for a
hear
minute.
Shit.
Or
It's
P.S.
like
P.S.
it's like 3 syllables. She is.
Yeah. It's Wern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice. You're doing good.
now when I go home, they say I've lost my accent, but you guys, so I kind of got a
We don't
Canadian
have to forget
southern blend, but it's it's fine.
So, where were you at whenever you decided I'm going out on my own?
No, wait, no. When were you? When did you decide to come to the United States?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I was on another project after that one that I just said, Trois-Rivières. I went and did a couple more installations of equipment, and I went to, you'll love this one, Rouen, Noranda.
Loranda?
Rouen,
Rouen?
Noranda.
Loranda.
Yeah, so it's in
Loranda.
like northern Quebec. It's
like-
not really northern, but it's an
Sounds
old.
Cajun.
I think it was French, and then the Polish settlers came along, so that's why it was Rouen, and then Noranda. But they had a massive copper mine in the middle of the town, and we were installing a new smelter crane. And I went with a couple of our senior guys, ironworkers. Jasper de Boer is another one, absolute legend.
I mean, the names.
Oh yeah, the Dutchman. But,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he would Jasper. Funny story. He was deaf. Like he had hearing aids and all that, but he was fit. He was a black belt karate and all that. But where we work is, sometimes 80, 100 feet, even more up above. So you've got to communicate to each other. It's not easy.
That's right.
Usually it's hot, dusty, dirty. It's miserable. But like I said, you got to be a little off kilter in the head, and we love it. So. We'd yell down, Jasper, we need a forklift. And he'd be there, he had a little mustache, I wish he could see it, but he.
I can picture it.
But you'd say forklift, and he'd be, Tuesday? No, forklift, Tuesday? But he was so smart, but he had hearing problems. And I went up there with him, in Rouen, Miranda, we did a very technical install, and when we had to stay, I forget what happened, I think, and this is just snowballed my way, I guess you can say. And his daughter, I think, was having a baby, and I was a young guy at that time, I was probably 26. And they said, he asked me, do you want to stay and finish it? Well, fuck yeah. I want the experience, but the recognition as well. So I did, and halfway through that, I did. It was me and Slobodan. He's Serbian. He smokes cigarettes, and we weren't allowed to smoke cigarettes. And all he'd say is "fuck, shit, shit, fuck." That's all he knew. He was what is it? Serbian, I think. Yeah. I don't know about Belgium, but that's it. It was shit, fuck, fuck, shit, every time. And so him and I stayed, and the French company we were working for in Quebec, COH is their name. They called me and asked if I wanted to go to Alabama.
You're like, where the fuck is that?
Where?
Had in a fucking clue.
Did you have to pull out a load?
I didn't even ask. I was still 10 hours away from home. That was about a Thursday, and I said when, and he said Tuesday. So,
And you said roll tide.
There's another story. There's another whole story for the roll tide thing. So I went. I said okay. I had a girlfriend at the time, and I'm going to Alabama, not knowing anything of the details. Hadn't a fucking clue. I just wanted the experience and the recognition, and away I went. Not a credit card to my name either, just a Canadian debit card, which doesn't go well in the United
I was
States.
gonna say, how does that work?
Didn't. I got to Mobile Airport. One, I needed a cigarette, and two, I called my, our, office administrator and said, I think it was Sherry. I'm not quite sure, but listen, I don't have a credit card. I need a rental car. But when you get it, you need to put your rental car on it, like your credit card on it, because I don't have one. I didn't have one. Didn't have one. I needed a debit card. Hell, I didn't need a credit card to buy beer at the bar. It was still that way. I was in Canada. I didn't give a shit. And so I went down there, and I went to Enterprise. Brocco, sure, credit card. Here you go. It was a Canadian debit card. And the fuck is this? I did in Canada back then. It wasn't your debit card wasn't a Visa like it is now. It was just a card with a Visa or MasterCard on it, and I didn't have it, so I had some pocket cash. Went to Saraland and went to a beautiful Quality Inn. Had no clue. I had a subcontractor. The owner of the subcontractor company ended up picking me up, and he ended up renting me a car, and that was the start of that was late June 2009, and that started my journey here.
In America.
Welcome.
So how long were you with that company whenever you decided to go out on your own with Compass?
Well, with that particular company, I didn't have a choice. They decided after 4 years being down here, they basically accused me of having Stockholm syndrome, basically, for the customer. So
having what?
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm, like
Stockholm.
Like Sweden.
Okay,
Stockholm.
got it. Okay.
Sweden.
Okay. I was gonna say your accent threw me off
Sven.
just a little bit.
So Stockholm, yeah. So I went,
Yeah.
So back that up. So I came down in June of 2009. October 30th of 2009, I was about to fly home that afternoon, and I was going to do the final lift, land a big, I don't know, it was 80,000 pound piece, way up there, but that was all I had to do. I was about to fly home that afternoon with another guy that was on another portion of the project, Mike Domjanzik, and he's Croatian.
The names.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. I can keep going, but yeah.
Very diverse crew.
Yeah. So Mikey was down here, and he had a Blackfoot, like Mr. Deeds.
Really?
Oh yeah. I forget what happened now. I think it was just his toe, but his toenail never grew back. But
did you grab like a fire stick? And did you do that?
No. He would never get that close.
The movie had the movie come out at that point? Oh,
no, I don't know when. Anyway, he was one of the senior guys. But then he was down here. I was about to fly home, and I was about to go to Argentina for a month. Had the flight booked, no insurance. I'm 27 at the time. Yeah, this is in October, so I'm bulletproof, man. I'm fucking Superman.
Oh, yeah.
This is the company's largest project they've ever had in their history.
Oh, you're going to Argentina for a project?
No, I'm going for myself, but I'm running this project in America,
Got it.
right? Like I am a fucking peacock. I got
Yeah.
fly, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I am out there. Like I am. This is unreal. Fucking A, you know.
Look at me now.
But I'm still the junior guy, getting
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
pay, you know. But all the guys are back at home.
But up here, you're
Yeah.
like, fucking, I'm rolling. Let's do this.
Fuck yeah, I'm a swinging dick, motherfucker. You know? Like on site. I mean, at that time, that was the largest construction
funny.
site project in the United States for 2 years.
Wow.
So it's for ThyssenKrupp. They built a stainless steel mill and a carbon steel mill. They bought 27 cranes from the Canadian company that I worked for, and they trusted me to do it. Yeah.
Well,
Was I ready? Fuck no.
But I feel like you got that personality. You can kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I walked into an absolute shitstorm. So, but the other positions that I were in, I mean, they were all the old timers, you know. And here I am, 27 years old, and just filled with piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna tell me what to do, motherfucker. And I had some trials and errors. Anyways, on that day, on October 30th, 2009, I was about to fly home, going to Argentina with my girlfriend. Everything's fucking great. All right, I just gotta land this one piece. I was flagging the piece of equipment that went up, and the man lift failed that I was in.
Oof.
So I free fell for, I don't know, a 60-foot lift, and it was sticked out. So, but the cables had snapped, and I had fallen into the hydraulic system. So I got knocked out, screwed up my head,
Oh,
broke my
God.
femur, but I'm still stuck in the air about 30 feet.
shit, fire.
Not in the country that I'm from.
Are you by yourself?
Yeah, in the lift, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had some of my subcontractors, I think it was.
I bet they all thought you were dead.
No fuck, so did I. But I woke up and I remember saying, you know, hey, I bleed piss and blood from my head. You know what heads do. And I'm stuck. I don't know what happened, you know. And they got me down, ended up having to go there. I didn't know anybody's day. And as fate would have it, that was my dad's last day working for that company. So when I got to USA in Mobile, you know, I broke down my back time. I was rocking it. Remember, I was a swinging dick, so I had a BlackBerry. I was
the big wide.
the man.
You've
2 buttons,
upgraded, yeah,
keyboard.
yeah.
Oh fuck
Yeah,
yeah!
you both hands to use that.
Yeah.
No more walkie-talkie.
No, I was the man. You know. Yeah, you picked the iPhone, sir. You know. So
Blackberry.
yeah, but it had broke. So I, you know, there, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know anybody's number. I'm in Mobile, Alabama now. They x-rayed me, and you know, a bunch of guys, they cut my pants off, and I guess I was saying a bunch of inappropriate stuff, but it was pretty funny when I come to and all that. So anyways, I had to call the office and ask for my dad. And I knew my femur was broke, and they said, you okay? I'm fucking fine. They said I was gonna be able to walk tomorrow. Fuck, I'm still going on the trip. So anyways, I ended up going into surgery the next morning. When I come to, my dad was there. That was October 30th, 09. I went home and rehabbed, physiotherapy and all that kind of stuff. And I flew back on this will come full circle. I just remember October 30th. I flew back down on January 4th or 5th. Shit. And when I was flying back, that was my niece. My first niece was born.
Okay.
So now I'm coming back. I had a cane, you know, but again,
Walking with a limp.
I'm fucking Superman.
Yeah.
I had that
Yeah.
hip cane, you
Yes,
know. I was
like-
like,
This is just temporary.
I'm shit. But at that
Seeing the
time,
opportunity.
I was headstrong, right? And I knew how big how big the project was, and I wanted that on my resume. I was more career orientated than I needed to be, right? I didn't give a shit except my career.
Did you feel like you had to prove something?
Since you grew up working in your dad's company and always kind of being looked at as like the owner's son
The
type
boss's
deal.
son, yeah.
I think, looking back, I had something to prove to my dad. Again, my dad from about 16 to 24 or maybe 26 after I started working, him and I couldn't even be in the same room together.
I was going to ask how y'all
It got, even when I started working for him and I was the safety guy, my parents had a big thing that every Sunday night, no matter what, if you weren't working, there's dinner at their house. So I'd always go Sundays, and then my dad and I would get into it, and I was just, you know, young, dumb, and full of, you know what, and tried to stick up for the guys, and my dad, you know, wasn't having it. So yeah, I had a little chip on my shoulder. I think I had a little bit bigger of head. I hadn't been humbled. I hadn't been.
Everybody gets it though.
It was just, you know, I was falling into my lap, you know, and I was just running with it at that point. And, you know, I'd tell the company, well, shit, you know, if you're not going to pay me for a weekend off, which was overtime and double time, you know, you can fly me home. You know, okay, we'll pay you. You know, so I was making money hand over fist, you know. Before I know it, I had, you know, motorcycles, jet skis, you know, just, again, I don't want to say I was out of control, but yeah, fuck, I was out of control. I mean, I had nobody, you know, I just had, you know, so yeah, so I flew back in January and ended up, you know, another, 4 years. I mean, I went from 09 to 13.
With the same job or in Canada?
No, down here.
Oh,
No, it wasn't quite 13. I think it was 12.
After you got back from down falling and shit.
Yep.
You came
Oh,
back.
you flew back to Alabama in January.
I had
You
to,
had to
so
finish the fucking
Well, I thought
job.
he
Crazy-
meant, I thought
crazy
he meant
story,
He flew
so-
to Canada in January. Got it. I'm there.
when I got out of the hospital in Mobile, I had blood clots in my leg, so I wasn't allowed to fly.
Oh yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah, so my parents rented a minivan down here and got me like a sun recliner, you know, like a patio recliner.
Yeah.
They took the seats out of the minivan and they had to drive me to the border in Buffalo. And then during all this, my passport had expired as well. So then I get to the border. Well, no, we switched trucks with my vans with my aunt and uncle, met us in Buffalo because Canadians can't drive a rental vehicle across. Canadians can't drive a U.S. vehicle across the border. Rumor has it. I don't really know. Anyways, I switched and all this shit, and the guy at the border didn't give a shit if my passport was expired or
You
not.
can leave America whenever you want to. It's just hard to get back in.
Yeah, well, not my case. I got a green card. But so, anyways, the guy at the border, which is on the Canada side, was more concerned that I didn't have a seatbelt on. But I was in a lounge chair in the back of it, you know, with my leg elevated and all that. But anyways, yeah, came back. The project went on and on and on and on and on. I had a bunch of run-ins with the president of the company, and probably looking back, I could have, would have, should have done it differently.
Well,
but again, I was the man, you know. So,
And here you are.
yep. So it got awkward after I did that with the president and all that, and I had to fly home to Canada. I had a pregnant girlfriend down here, more or less, and they gave me a severance package, so I didn't have to work. You know, I did the smart thing, responsible thing. I rented a badass condo in Orange Beach. Golfed every day, hired an immigration lawyer, and you know, I got my green card. Couldn't go home, couldn't do anything. So yeah, I golfed.
What year was this?
This is what year is Blake born? It's only 2011. So it's probably, maybe it wasn't 4 years on the project. It felt like 4 years, probably only 2 years on the project.
Okay.
2011, yeah, I don't remember the time, but I think it was around February of 2011. I think it was Christmas, but and if you're young and work at a company listening to, don't do what I did. They wanted me to stay down here for Christmas and New Year's because the equipment we sold the customer wasn't reliable. They called me last minute, you know, and no, you can come down here. This is the vice president of the company. So he says, no, we need you to stay. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna work every day for 8 hours. You're gonna pay me when I'm on site on top of that. And I want a check for $15,000, you know, after taxes as a bonus. I'll stay here. If not, you can bring your fluffy dog down here and your girlfriend and you can stay. I mean, I've almost died down here, you know, this is how headstrong I was. Was I blunt? Yeah, was I, you know, but I don't regret it. Anyways, I got the money. So
He paid you to stay.
Yeah,
He wasn't bringing
but
that fluffy dog nowhere.
what I didn't know is that I didn't play my cards right, and the writing was on the wall. So yeah, I got my severance, stayed down here, got my green card, and that's how I left that company. And to be honest, I jumped around after I could work in the U.S. I bounced around, couldn't find a home. There was nothing like I was used to for the company in Canada. I went back to being a tech versus being the man on a job. I was just back to a technician, which I wasn't used to. I didn't have that knowledge, but they expected me to have that knowledge. And
was that when you were humbled?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I got divorced at that time.
Yeah.
So I was in a bad spot,
Nothing like a big kick in the balls.
I pissed away everything. I was living paycheck to paycheck. The man lift was failing. The man lift failed in 09, and there was, because of that, there was lawsuits going on and everything. So again, I went back, in Canada, you can't do lawsuits like they do in the US. I don't know what it is, but you can't.
Thank God for that.
No shit.
Right, but
Good for them.
I was, I didn't do anything, so when my parents came down here, I had to meet with lawyers and all that kind of shit, and it was John Seville in Mobile. He was my landlord at the time, and he said, you need to go talk to these people. We didn't know. So we did, signed the paperwork, and this is in 09, and away we went, and 2011, I had the trial and all that for my lawsuit and all that week-long ordeal, and was awarded a verdict, which you can Google. It's for $1.7 million. But then everybody appealed, right? So then I'm like, well, fuck, I'm still broke. So I bounced around from a couple companies. I worked for one in New Orleans, went in management there, which was my first real taste in management.
What company was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Hoist and Train Service Group. So I went to, we did a big job in Hawaii there, and I was a service manager. Went over there to Hawaii, and a couple of guys were doing things that they shouldn't do, but the job was already tanking, so I kept my mouth shut, I guess you could say, doing the blue collar thing. Wow, I got thrown under the bus there. So again, I was unemployed. So I was humbled yet again. So I went to another company. It was kind of not my last, but worked for them for probably 2 years. It's Ace Industries, great company, great people. But at that time, my kids were getting older. I was a single father, 50-50, and they didn't understand that. So I had to make a change. So I left and went to DeShazo Crane Company they were just starting a branch in Mobile. Did that, guaranteed money, guaranteed this, that. Shortly after, they offered me a sales position, so that's where bet on myself. I can do this.
Hell yeah.
Kind of
yeah,
got
you're the man.
kind of got that Superman. Like, fuck yeah, my backs, fuck, they're looking good. But anyway, started taking off, and we grew our branch. And along the way, I'd met a lot of good people and brought a lot of those people to the branch. Started working with those guys, and as we got bigger at that branch, to be perfectly honest, I had a meeting with the VP and my branch manager, and they said, "What do you need?" I said, "I want more money." Setting records and the branch, we just exploded, and I'm happy with what I do, but I want more money. And they said, "You should be happy." And at that time, my lawsuit had come and went, and it had settled with the Supreme Court. So I was okay. It wasn't stupid money, but I could make some choices if I wanted to. And I told them straight face, I could do this on my own. And they didn't believe me.
I'll show you.
Well,
Same thing.
So my service
Tell me
manager,
Yeah.
I can't.
yep,
It's the best
Watch
motivator
this.
I've ever had.
my service manager is Lane Stewart. He's a unicorn in our industry, and he was about to leave that company to go to another one, and I said, this can't fucking happen. What do we gotta do? You wanna start a company? So he said, fuck yeah, but we need another guy. He said, so Matt Clemens is another guy. He's mechanical like I. Excuse me, pardon me. And two of us, September 11th, tomorrow will be 4 years ago.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Yay.
cheers. So
Cheers to that.
Happy
kind
birthday anniversary.
of crazy how it all happened, but yeah, 3 dumb guys went out on their own, and a lot of people helped us on the way, but yeah, stupid.
Obviously not.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, the decisions along the way. I mean, it was. Again, you asked if I've been humbled. Now that I work for myself, essentially, it's every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's every day.
Right.
You know, I don't have that CFO or CEO or anybody to pat safety guy or president or anybody I can just pass the puck to
Yeah.
say, you know, here, it's your job.
So, like, whenever you did make that pivot and you knew you were going on your own, you got your other 2 guys, your team, the 3 of y'all, like, what would you say was probably the most challenging in the beginning of it all?
Well, those guys were not at that time. Lane and Matt they were service techs and they were damn good at their job. You know, and I was a sales guy. I'm the one that had time at that time, so I didn't want to have bad juju on my company. So, you know, I didn't know. I'd never done this before. I don't know what a lawyer has said about all that. So what do? You ask Google. I legal zoomed it.
There you go.
You know, and I asked them, you know, like, what do you want for a name? And I brought it up to them. So I offered Matt and Lane sweat equity, a percentage in the company after so many years. And they're still working toward it, and they're instrumental to where we are today. And so I went and did it, and we didn't. I had a company name and didn't have insurance. Was self-employed. At that time, I wanted a building with cranes in it. So our local machine guru that we all worked for with years, Joe Ray. That's a Southern name. It's not Canadian.
Joe Ray's
No.
from Mississippi.
I got
Joe
that.
Ray's Alabama. He's Alabama all
I
day.
I picked
He's
up
great.
on yeah,
So-
I picked up on that.
I brought you remember the last company I went after it with the president of the company? First time I brought him down here, we had to get machining done. So he was from France, and brought him down. He says, I want to see this machine shop brought. So I'm like, okay. So, because once you deal with the French so long, you start speaking broken English. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
it's easier, you know. So whether it be Mexican, Italian, whatever, we all operate. So your brain does it automatically. And then when you go back to your normal friends, you still do it. And then it's like, fuck me, that. So I brought him down there, and this is at Joyce and Theodore. They are amazing. It's a father and 2 sons. And I'm not a hunterman. I'm not a hunter. I'm not a
I'm
fisherman.
not a hunterman.
Hunterman. That's a movie, isn't
Fuck no, ain't nobody ever said that except for you, bro.
it? Guess what they were doing inside their shop? This guy's from France, white collar like a motherfucker. I mean, they're boiling deer heads.
Whenever y'all pull up,
Oh yeah, and he's judging a book by its cover.
welcome to Mississippi.
Yeah, no, this is Alabama. Come on,
Welcome to
Yeah,
Alabama.
it's all a blur.
I was gonna say it's
pretty close.
The Twin States, like mirror
Yeah.
image.
Yeah. A little bit
No
different.
comment.
We're better.
They're a little better at football than us, but other than that, we got like tennis and basketball.
We got everything else.
Did you say basketball? Are you a basketball fan?
No, not at all.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, we went there. But anyways, he got me with a very well-to-do guy in Theodore, older gentleman, and just talked to him. You know, he said, "Well, you're a friend of Joe Rice. By God, you're a friend of mine. Where are you from? Wisconsin?" I said, "Oh, Canada." You know, he was around 80 at this time. You know, so what I did to start my business is I took a mortgage out on my house, my old house, and mortgaged it to the gills and bet on myself. That's
Well,
it.
that's a gamble.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What do you like? I'm sorry.
Nope,
man.
nope, go ahead.
Like your gut, you just knew, like you never had a doubt. I'm not gonna let this fail, or
What?
was it scary as fuck?
In the beginning, but when we first started this podcast, I caught on to something you had said. You were like, fear? What's that? Fear.
That was whenever it was
I'm
22.
Yeah, but
24.
still, like you can still feel that way, like going into business for yourself.
I mean, I
that
still
yourself, like I know this is gonna work. I'm
Make
not.
your butthole
I'm
get
not.
tight?
I'm not gonna make.
Oh,
I'm
water
not gonna
tight.
let this fail.
I can
It's
have
not
baths.
an
I ain't gonna take on no water, But so I did. Yeah, it was scary. But when we did when I was with the Shazo for so long, it was the work wasn't coming in from product that we were selling, right? The work was coming in because the individuals that we had at that branch, which is myself, Lane, Matt, you know, there's a bunch of other people, but it was the quality of service that we were offering and the trust that we had with our customers. It wasn't like Tesla, right? It wasn't like Apple. They don't give a shit what it is. They want the face and the trust and the relationship.
Yep.
So when they pissed everybody off, I literally had a boss back then that after we left, the same guy I left because of, he literally got a service call on Christmas Eve. Christmas fucking Eve, and he sent out a text message to the group, I guess his company. We had already moved on, but the crane industry is a big fucking soap opera. I mean, like the cranes of our lives, oh yeah. So he sent out at 8:30 at night, this was probably a few years ago, and it says, if I have to go, it's gonna be fucking ugly. So a guy wrote back and says, I'm gonna go, but fuck you and fuck this company. And went and did the job, everything's fine, got home, Christmas morning with his kids, all right, they got, you guys don't have Boxing Day down here. No, so it's right back 26th. Canada is a holiday, that's our Black Friday on the 26th of December.
I thought you were talking about boxing, like boxing.
That's Boxing Day, is the 26th. Like, how you have Black Friday during Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Canada's Boxing Day, which is December 26th. That's when you do the lineups and sleep outside of Best Buy and all that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah,
Learn something
I don't
every
do that shit.
No, neither do
Amazon.
But anyways, this guy went and did that job, and he did it, and he said what he said to the guy, but it's Christmas Eve, dude.
Yeah.
This guy went and did the job, it was fine, he got suspended for 3 days, so it just taught me a lesson there that I never wanted a company like that. So, but to back up to this is how I learned the art of a deal.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, tell me the art of the
Do
deal.
tell.
So I got with this wealthy guy, remember, a friend of his, a friend of mine, right? He owns a massive office, and I go up in his office, fancy shit everywhere, and I'm a little intimidated, but I had I took the mortgage out on the house, and he knew the building, we walked the building. I wanted the building. That was my first step. I want this thing.
Yeah.
So he said, well, what do you want? I said, I don't know. He says, no, tell me your deal. This is an 80-year-old man that I'm talking to in this massive conference room. And I said, all right, I'm going to give you $50,000. I'm going to pay you $3,000 a month for rent for 2 years, and $500 comes off my agreed upon purchase from today, which was, $188,000, something like that, for the shop that I have now. Didn't use nothing. Just picked up his flip phone, called the realtor. We got a deal. I said, no. What? Is that okay? So that's what you want? That's what I want. I said, well, fuck, should I have said $50,000? I just gave $50,000 to incentivize this. Is it incentivize? Whatever it is, but $50,000, but it's still $50,000. Shit, did I just fuck up? But I got the building, and 2 years later we purchased it, and it's it's spilt milk. Can't cry over it. So that's how I got the building.
So with you, not being from this area and all that, whenever you started your business, like, how did you make a name for yourself? How did you get Compass Industrial out there?
Pretty much all the companies that I've mentioned before, that's always kind of been part of the journey. I've made the relationships,
Yeah.
So you think relationships are probably, is that one of the main factors of how quick Compass took off?
Yeah, with all our people. I mean, we built an amazing team, but we don't bullshit. We don't push product either. What we have is our hands, our feet, and our heads, right? And our we're not trying to put
service.
we're service, but we're not going to try to sell you a bullshit product that you don't need. I'm not being pushed to do that, you know. So we only sell things that we 100% believe in, and that journey along the way where I went from one company to another, I jumped around a lot. Was I happy about it? Hell no, nobody is.
Yeah.
But I never found a home. I was never happy. So, you know, a happy worker is an efficient worker. So
Right.
So you think that had to be the factor that you were like, all right, I'm not happy here, not happy here, not happy here. All right, I'm doing this shit myself.
Even when I was in sales, I mean, I left a damn good paying job to go out on my own and take that risk. But during that whole time, you know, my dad was in my ear, which is now, you know, he's my best friend. I talk every day. You know, it's the weirdest fucking thing how it happened. But, you know, he said, go to school. When, you know, the lawsuit and all that, he said, go to school, you don't need to work. You know, you do, but go to school so you can learn business, do something. So then I, you know, was researching franchises. Like, you know, I was pretty damn close to being a Cinnabon man in Mississippi. You know, and this ain't me, you know.
I ain't doing Cinnabons.
This ain't me.
I ain't doing Cinnabons and shit.
I'm a blue collar guy, you know, what the fuck you want? I can't do that at a Cinnabon shop, you know, so it took me a while. I had a lot of fun, you know. We went on a bunch of good trips. I took my dad, that was around his 60th birthday at the time. We went to Europe and with my mom, my brother. And I was having fun, but I knew that I wanted more. I don't know. I didn't know it, but I think subconsciously I knew it. You know, I wanted to do the right thing. I saw a lot of good people in my industry that I think deserved to work for more and get paid what they deserve and have a home. You know, and that's what this was built on.
So you really, those guys that you kind of came up with, you brought them along with you, and you took care of them the way you wanted to be taken care of back in the day.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, I mean, now again, are we perfect? Hell no.
Ain't nobody perfect.
No, but again, the fun stuff, the fun thing about running your own business is that, you know, it's trying to be better every day, trying to get that chaos down to a minimum and fight that battle. Is it easy? No. We're just going through a phase now that it's not. You know, it's not. We're going through a couple projects now that are absolute misery. The guys know that. I know that. You know, and again, I want that to be. Oh, you're going to hire on a Compass Industrial. If you leave, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't do something wrong, but I did something wrong, and I take that to heart, and it weighs on me pretty heavy. What could I do? What should I do? And the other thing I don't ever want to happen is the greed.
Greed.
Corporate greed.
Oh yeah, greed.
Greed.
Right.
Yes.
You know, like when I was in sales and all that, we did a record year. Can I get a raise? No. But wait a second here. You know, spread the wealth, man.
Yeah.
You know, just spread it around. You know, from
Give
a lot.
a pat on the back.
Yeah, give a pat on the back, but just do the right thing. You know. I can't go to bed. I try to do the right thing. Do I always? Hell no. But that's the battle we all.
Well,
what makes it fun, I guess.
Right.
I'll tell you that's one thing I love about you. I know you on a personal level outside of business, and you are the most genuine, like, just great people.
Try to, like y'all. You know.
Well, yeah.
Good people find good people.
That's right.
CJ, get her on the mic and she hot her up and she's gonna tell you different. But anyways.
No.
Yeah.
She wouldn't.
But yeah, I try to. I really do.
Well,
you know?
I feel like just your personality and your mentality has had to impact your business and Compass. And I know without a doubt that Compass is gonna keep growing because it's got a guy like you pushing it.
It's a lot of guys, but I think in corporate America, I really do think that when you get corporate, what it does is suck the personality out of people. The fun. Be your fucking self.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the mill manager or the head boss of a big plant. I don't care. I'm gonna be you. I may say some, pardon my French, you know, but I'm gonna curse and I'm gonna be me. But I'm not gonna bullshit you either, you know, and you're gonna see that. And our whole team has that same mentality, but we also, yeah, I own the company, but I'm one of the guys.
Yeah.
We have a group text, and hell, I'm the whipping post of the damn thing, you
Yeah.
know. But I take it.
You're the punching bag.
I give it,
I
but
feel like that some days.
I love it. You
Yeah.
know, it brings me, and
It means they love you. Yeah,
they'll-
they're not gonna do that
I,
so they don't like
I
you.
love them all, but they'll tune me up in a real heartbeat. I have a sales guy that's worse than anybody.
That's what that just shows you right there that they trust you and they love you.
Yeah.
They like you enough and trust you enough that they will throw a jab at you.
Hell yeah, I was.
If they wouldn't, that would bother me.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a few weeks ago. I had to work a Saturday, and I had my sales guy there, Scott, and one of our other mechanical guys, Caleb. And Scott twisted his ankle on a job, but he's still there humping it right with me, sales guy, you know. And I'm the owner, and we're working it, and I'm in there, and the customer's there. I didn't agree with what the customer's doing. I went in there 6 a.m. just hot and heavy, just let the customer have it.
No way.
And Caleb, you know, is over my shoulder being my hype guy, like, fuck yeah, this is bullshit. And then Scott, my sales guy, just looks at me like a pawpaw. What was that? And it fucked with my psyche so bad.
The customer is always right, right?
Yeah.
The same Burger
Thank
King.
God the customer is also we have a great personal relationship
There
as
you
well.
go.
And he
Okay,
understood
there you
as
go.
well. He walked off, you know, but Scott, they put me in my place and be like, what in the fuck was that? Why? So they're all there. We hold each other accountable. We try not to be corporate. The bigger you get, the harder it's becoming, is what I'm finding.
How many employees do you have now?
You know, 15.
Okay.
So small, yet, I mean, I remember getting into this 4 years ago, and I said, I'm never getting above 8. Then we just hired another guy, Caleb, you know, no, Kobe, and it's just going where it is. Now that I have to be in the driver's seat more than I want to, and in the office, I'm looking at the computer screen, looking at the insurance, and looking at this, looking at that. And Lane and Scott have really taken over, and Miss Kelly, the office manager. Well, I don't know. There's no book wrote on it, you know. It's a lot of just go with your gut.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
That's how I was kind of just as you were talking right there, like I feel like you was talking to the listeners right now. Like,
Yeah.
what would you say to anybody listening right now who is working a job that they hate their fucking boss, or is working a job that they know they can achieve more, or is working a job where it's too corporate? Like, what would you tell them?
What would your advice be?
Yeah,
It takes
can't everybody be a business owner? If that was the case, then you wouldn't have employees.
To be a business owner, I mean, you got to be a leader, number one, right? You can't be a manager, and that's what we have in the corporate world. There's managers and there's leaders.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want management at my company. What I want is leaders.
That's right.
I want conflict. I want on a job to say, and somebody bow down.
Test
and be
me.
like,
I
you know,
love that.
You're
I
right.
love
You know,
conflict.
I want the commitment. A lot of at Compass, what we do is a lot of the mentality is a sports team. Tell me a sports team that's won a championship, I don't care what sport it is, that had animosity between the team members. Tell me one. Are they perfect? Fuck no. But when you're out on that field, or you're out on that court, or you're out on that ice, you're gonna do your damn fucking best for your teammates and all that. You know, that 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but that's what I'm expecting from mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my company, and I'm not getting on a session on my company, but playing through pain, adversity, bullshit, problems, all that kind of stuff, the long hours, that is what separates the good from the great. If you can't do it working for somebody else, you never will working for yourself. Ever.
Say that one more time.
I know, I love that. Say it again.
So what separates the good from the greats, any sport you look at, and that's where I get a lot. I mean, you can look at the books, there's a lot of picture books, but I still read them. But it's all about sports. I'm a big fan of biographies. If you're great at something, you went through adversity. And I believe the same thing in business. So if you go on a project, no project's gonna go perfect. So if you can't think on your feet, you can't go through that adversity, that pain, play through injury and all that, then you're never going to succeed on your own. You have to, and that's what separates the good from the great. So I want our team to have that same mentality. And again, a lot of the guys, a lot of my guys, do they get pissy sometimes? Yeah. But as a business owner, going out on your own, if you're not happy at your job, the only person you're betting on is yourself.
That's right.
If you don't have that confidence in yourself, or you don't have that confidence, again, if you're working for somebody else, don't be afraid to say no, or don't be a yes man.
Yeah.
Speak your mind. Sooner or later, someone's going to hear you.
Right.
But if they don't hear you, and you don't, and if they don't value your opinion, make a change. Go out to go do it yourself.
Yeah.
Now again, in order for me to do Compass, financially, I got given did I get hurt? Could I have got seriously hurt? Could have been a lot worse than it was. Fuck yeah.
But you also got a ton of knowledge from those guys that gave you the ability to know what the fuck you're talking about and go run a company.
I've got, along my career now, I was in so many fortunate situations that it's like,
you learn from those people, but you gotta take that in.
Right, but along the way, what I've done is to myself is, I am Brock Hill, I am. But who made me is all those people along the way. Mm-hmm. I took a snippet from Cody, I took a snippet from Kristen, I took a snippet from my old man, from Vincenzo Lemachese, from Jasper DeBoer, from Matt Kubik, Terrence Silstra, the hundreds of people I've worked with, but they're all great at something.
Yeah.
So I'd steal a little bit of that, 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 and that's what made me. I'd watch how they'd work with other people, other trades, problems on the site. You want to go in there a hothead, in a blue collar, guess what you're going to get done? Not a fucking thing. Because they're all going to go against you. You have to be, like we talked earlier when we like to bless your heart. But you got to be able to say fuck you, but they walk away with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You have to have that. You have to have that personality, but
stand your ground, but don't let anybody
So
walk over you.
You were talking about all these people that have influenced you. Whenever we started this podcast tonight, I wrote a note. Within the first 10 seconds, it was, didn't have a pot to piss in.
yeah.
So all these people and all these experiences and the way you took it and turned it in your advantage, like a fucking winner does. How many Porsches you got now?
Just one.
Just one?
Mm.
I remember seeing a red one last
I
week.
just sold it. But yeah, so
Hold
to
on.
go back to the car thing, yeah, I love Porsches, but
Hold on, time out. You need to go click that. Will you go click
Oh
off?
shit.
Go click close, bro. Casey, we'll cut this part out. Sorry about that. There we go. Is it still recording?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
all right, so the Porsches thing, my dad did what I did when I was growing up. He did it in the 80s, and on the cranes, remote controls were loose, and we're changing and all that. He was that guy. But when he was working, he wrote, when he graduated college, he wrote a letter to Porsche asking to work for them.
No shit.
So growing up, my room was Porsche everything. We'd go to the Montreal Grand Prix and all that. We'd go to the races. I grew up at a racetrack, 24-hour races. I get bathed in Tupperware containers, drunk people all around. My
Sounds
parents,
like Talladega in America.
Funny.
my parents were cool as shit, but we were so poor that if we saw a Porsche at a big race, fuck, we'd pitch a picnic right
Yeah.
beside it.
Yeah.
That's how close we got. And it was my dad. He worked his bag off. How my mom put up with me, my sister, my brother, I have no idea. But my dad finally got one at I think 40.
Nice.
Yep. So then it's just been born and bred into me. So
Yeah.
kind of it was, to make my dad proud. I got given that leg up with a lawsuit. I'm not going to deny it. That's what happened. But I risked, is it that?
Yeah,
Risk.
Risked all that for the company, and I've
Yeah.
been able, I bought this house. I got a great partner now, CJ. I got 2 bonus kids. I got my kids. I mean, it's a life is good, man. It's fun. It's entertaining. Just bought the property beside us, which you guys know. And once I moved here, I met y'all. You know,
Y'all.
Nice.
I
met you.
That was awesome. You did good.
Guys. I met
Good
you
job.
guys.
No, you did
And the
great.
neighbors
You did
are
great.
amazing. Yeah, it's just the way life's unfolding that it's just.
Yeah.
It's super cool, but also humbling at the same time because I literally came from. If you knew the house we grew up in, it was. I can tell you stories. I just shoveled snowbanks out of my room.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it would blow through the bricks.
Wow.
We had a fireplace. They had to take bricks out of the roof to get the heat to come into the inside.
Jeez.
We'll
That's
do that
that's
often. We'll do that after. But yeah, it was different. We were used to it. You had a duvet about 24 inches thick, and when you get in bed,
A duvet, is that one of them things that blow water up your butt?
Jesus.
What is that called?
That's a
it's about time to leave, man.
That's a bud day.
bidet.
Bidet.
Wow. No, he's talking about
No, a duvet is a goose down. It's a goose down. It's goose feathers
it's a
and
comforter.
yeah, but it was this thick, and you'd have to lay in that bed for about 20 minutes till your body heat started circulating in that motherfucker because you ain't moving at all. It was so cold. So cold.
So cold.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, proud of you now. Congratulations on 4
No
years
doubt.
tomorrow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate later.
We are going to celebrate. I definitely think it's time to wrap this thing up, though.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
heard a hell of a story. I love it. It's awesome. Very inspiring. Anybody that's listening, no matter what industry that you're in, you can definitely take something from this.
I'm a hot mess.
Yeah.
I
Well,
hope I made sense going this way. But
So before we get out of here, do you have one last little one-liner you would give any entrepreneur?
Mic drop. Here's your, yeah.
pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Be a pig.
Boom. Mic drop.
Mm.
Yum.
Well, whether you like it or not, there it is.
There it is. All right, Brock. Well, thank you so much for being on our show
Thank you,
today.
brother.
And
Thank
CJ,
you.
Thank you guys for having me.
for letting us come over to your house. Beautiful home. Real quick, one last thing before we get out of here. Tell our listeners where they can go to find out more about Compass Industrial.
CompassIndustrialUSA.com.
There it is.
Yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, I think. I don't know. Just,
We're the same. We're
Go like and
we're
share
there.
stuff
Yeah,
yeah, it's there on the interweb.
that's right.
on the internet.
Yeah. I honestly
Wherever.
don't
It's
know.
that we're
We
out
don't
there.
have a social media manager, so I don't know.
I know a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know a girl.
All right.
All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in to another episode, a couple of subs. If you like what you heard today, go check us out on Facebook, Instagram, our website. If you have somebody in mind that you'd like for us to interview, let us know. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Later.
Peace.